So we'll continue with example 3. What if you're given a scenario that simply says x is less than 2? What if you're given that scenario? Well, let me really just quickly remind you, if you were told x equals 2, you would know that you go right to 2, and anything that falls within the scenario where x is 2 could be true, right? X equals 2. That's how you would graph that. Okay? Well, what about x is less than 2? I know I'm doing some real generic sketching here, but knowing that anything less than 2 is true, that would mean that on the 2 is a dotted line. And only numerals that are smaller than 2 will satisfy that scenario. Okay? Would 1 be true? Sure it is. How about 0? And so on and so forth. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. Example 4. This is where you're going to want to have multiple either colored pencils or pens, because this, if it is not clear to me, I won't even try to figure it out. All right? Graph this system.
Mrs. Myers?
Yes.
Can you send Jacob Sullivan up, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
Example 4. X plus y is less than or equal to 6, and on the same graph, we're going to graph 2y is greater than x. Okay? Before I can actually do all of this, I'm going to translate it into y equals mx plus b form because I prefer that. Some of you might not have to do that. I prefer it. Okay? So I am going to move stuff around, and I'm going to have y is less than or equal to negative 1x plus 6. And this one, I'm going to have, I'm going to throw a 0 here just so that I remember that my y-intercept is 0. And I'm going to divide everything by 2. Y is greater than 1/2 x plus 0. Okay? I threw in that 0. It's almost like a placeholder to remind myself that the y-intercept is at 0. Okay? And you'll see that here when I graph it in a second. All right? Then when I divide it by 2, y is greater than, x divided by 2 is the same as 1/2 x. 0 divided by 2 is still 0. I am going to graph this one in black, and I am going to graph this one in red. I don't care what you do, as long as you do something clear like that. Okay? On the same graph, I'm going to start with this one. My y-intercept is 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? And my slope is negative 1, which is negative 1, 1. Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Are you guys seeing sort of a line forming? Okay? Is it going to be a solid line or a dotted line, and why? Solid or dotted? Solid, because not only is it less than, but it's also equal to. Okay? Here's my line. Now, I am going to test to see what I should shade for the red. I'm going to test 0, 0, because that's nice and easy. If 0, 0 is true, then I'm shading over here. If it's not, I'm shading over there. So here we go. 0 is less than or equal to the opposite of 0, which is 0 plus 6. Is 0 less than 6? Absolutely. Notice I practiced even in the red. Okay, just to keep myself clear. Okay. Black pen for the other side. Here we go. Y is greater than 1/2 x plus 0. 0 is where my y-intercept is. My slope is up 1, right 2. Right about there. Dotted line or solid? And y? I'll wait. Why is it dotted? Because it's not equal to. It is only greater than. Make sure it's pretty darn clear what I'm looking at. Okay? When I look at it, if I can't tell if it's dotted or solid, I'm marking it wrong. Now, looking at the black line, we want to test something either on this side of the black line or on that side of the black line. I am going to choose 0, -1 as my test point. If 0, -1 is true, then down here is correct. If it is false, then up here is correct. Here's the equation. Here we go. -1, which is my y value, is greater than 1/2 times 0 plus 0. -1 is greater than 0. True or false? So I am going to black shade over here. Okay, as messy as this appears, you might be able to see that the area that satisfies both equations is where both areas were shaded, which I just highlighted for you. That is the area that satisfied both equations. Okay, now this is going to take some practice. I'm not going to deny it. Woo, graph number 5. Look at that fun. Everything greater than 0 for x, everything greater than 0 for y. And then 2 pretty nice equations there. Let me try and make this make some sense to us. X has to be greater than 0. Awesome. Y has to be greater than 0, which means that the only numeric values that will be true are numbers in quadrant 1. Okay, so remember your quadrants, how it goes quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. In order for this to be true, your x has to be a positive number and your y has to be a positive number. I'm just going to go plug that in the back of my skull for right now because I'm going to need that here in a minute. All right? I'm going to go on to the 2 equations that have to be cleared up. 3x plus 2y less than or equal to 12. And the other one is x minus 2y is greater than or equal to -4.
Allison sends to office, please, Allison.
Let's clean this up. 2y is less than or equal to -3x plus 12. Divide by 2. Y is less than or equal to -3 halves x plus 6. If I did my arithmetic correctly. We're going to do the same thing over here. -2y is greater than or equal to -x minus 4. Divide by a negative. Looks like we're flipping some equations here, or flipping the sign. So y is less than or equal to positive half x. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. These are all basic rules that if you don't adhere to them, they'll kill you. Okay? All this basic division and inequality stuff.
Joe Twig, John Kim, Lynn, Judy, Alex, Ting, Gabe West, Tracy Garcia, Aaron, Mike Mahalik, Sophie Lamore, and Clayton Time to the office, please.
So I'm going to start with this equation in red and this equation in black, okay? And I'm actually going to use a piece of my handy dandy graph paper. I hope you can see it, but you'll get the idea. Y-intercept is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slope is -3/2. Down 3 over 2. Solid or dotted? Because it's equal to. Okay? Okay, let's test 0, 0. 0 is less than or equal to 3/2 times 0 is 0. 6. True or false? Zero is less than 6. True or false? Okay, beautiful. So I am going to shade this entire side as being true for that inequality. Okay? This one, switching to black. Y-intercept is 2. Slope is 1/2. Up 1 over 2. Oh, how nice. They actually share a spot. Solid or dotted? Again, bravo. Okay? Let's test. 0, 0 sound like fun? 0, which is right here. So we're testing 0, 0 again. 0 is less than or equal to 2. Is that true or false? So we're going to shade everything that includes that. Right there. Okay? So you might think you're done, but remember that beginning stuff? X is greater than 0 and Y is greater than 0. That means only things that are in quadrant 1 that satisfy these two scenarios can be true. Okay? And they don't do a very good job of making that clear, but this little square, this little trapezoid, is the only thing that includes all 4 scenarios. Okay? That is the only thing that includes all 4 scenarios. Now, today's day 1 of this lesson, and hopefully you're going to be able to do the practice pretty well.